All right, so we're diving into Halal Slaughterer interview prep today. We've got all these RoleCatcher resources, kind of like our cheat sheet for this deep dive.
It's really all about showing up prepared.
Yeah, not just showing up,
Yeah.
really understand the
Yeah,
role of the industry, how you fit in.
definitely.
So first things first, what exactly does a Halal Slaughterer do? I think it's easy to just think, oh, it's the slaughtering part,
Yeah,
but there's more to it, right?
absolutely. Um, a halal slaughterer is responsible for making sure that the entire process follows Islamic law. So that starts with humane animal care, according to those guidelines. Then there's the slaughtering process, which has very specific requirements, then processing the carcasses, and then finally making sure everything meets hygiene and compliance standards.
Okay, so it's a big responsibility. And I see from these RoleCatcher reports that the demand for halal meat is growing globally. So this isn't just a job. This is a career with serious potential.
Yeah, you got it. That growing demand means excellent job security and a really promising career path.
Okay, let's talk about that then. Getting your foot in the door. Obviously, there's applying for open positions. But what are some other smart ways to get noticed?
Well, think about internships or apprenticeships, maybe even volunteering at a farm or butcher shop, because not only does that show initiative, but it also gives you practical experience that employers really value.
And you know what? That's where RoleCatcher really shines. Because they have a whole section dedicated to gaining experience. And it's tailored to the specific roles like this one.
Yeah, it's a fantastic resource
Mhm.
for exploring those options and finding opportunities that align with your goals.
Okay. Let's dive into the interview itself. I'm sure you'll get asked to explain the halal slaughtering process. It's in like every guide.
Absolutely. That's a very fundamental question. And it's your chance to showcase your knowledge of Islamic law and halal slaughtering methods, showing you understand the traditions and the technical aspects involved.
So it's about accuracy, but also about respect for the beliefs behind it.
Right. Exactly. Use clear, concise language, highlighting the key principles. Without getting overly technical, remember, you're demonstrating your understanding, not giving a lecture.
Okay, and I'm seeing a note here, so this is probably a follow-up question they might throw at you. Something like, what are the key differences between halal slaughtering and other methods?
That's a great point. Being prepared to compare and contrast shows a deeper understanding. You're not just reciting the steps, but you're showing you understand the nuances. So, for example, you could explain the emphasis on minimizing animal suffering in halal slaughter, which is very central to Islamic teachings.
Okay, so it's about showing that you've thought about the why behind the how.
I see.
Okay, and another common question is, how do you ensure the animals are treated humanely?
This one's huge. It's about showing your commitment to animal welfare, but within that halal framework. So you'll want to mention specific protocols you follow, any training that you have, and you could even highlight certifications like halal food handling and processing.
Right, those certifications are like gold stars on your resume. They show you're serious.
Yeah. And you know what? RoleCatcher lets you input those certifications and tailor your CV based on specific job descriptions. Their AI actually analyzes what employers are looking for and helps you highlight the most relevant skills.
So it's like having a personal assistant to make your application stand out.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It takes the guesswork out of tailoring your CV.
I like it. Okay, another question I see here is, what experience do you have in halal slaughtering? I bet a lot of people just list their past jobs. What would be a better approach?
Well, instead of just listing the jobs, talk about specific situations, challenges you overcame, and how those experiences make you the perfect fit for this role. So think about times you had to solve problems, work under pressure, or even implement new techniques.
So it's about turning your experience into a story that really demonstrates your skills.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you practice telling those stories effectively. It provides feedback on your delivery and helps you refine your answers to hit those key points employers are looking for.
It's like having a mock interview with a coach who knows exactly what they want to hear.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so what about staying current with the industry? I'm guessing they'll ask about that too.
You bet. How do you stay up to date with industry changes? Is definitely designed to gauge your commitment to ongoing learning.
Okay, so what are some good things to mention?
You could talk about conferences, workshops, or publications you follow. Maybe even membership in professional organizations, like the Halal Food Council or American Hall Association, which are both highlighted in the career guide.
And remember, RoleCatcher can help you find relevant professional development opportunities based on your career goals. So it's not just about prepping for this interview. It's about building a long-term career.
Right.
Okay, here's a tougher one. Describe a difficult situation you faced during a halal slaughtering process and how you handled it.
Okay, so that's a classic behavioral question. It's designed to assess your problem-solving skills.
So how do you approach a question like that? It feels like a minefield.
Now, first, choose a real scenario. But remember, focus on a challenge that you successfully overcame. Then clearly explain the problem. Outline the steps you took. And then highlight that positive outcome. And most importantly, share what you learned from the experience.
So it's all about showing you can think on your feet.
Exactly. And don't forget to practice. RoleCatcher has a library of these behavioral questions with sample answers and AI-powered feedback to help you refine your responses.
So you're not just memorizing answers. You're developing a framework for tackling any curveball they throw at you.
Right.
I like it. Okay, we've covered some pretty tough questions. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about career advancement. So where can this job take you in the long run?
That's a great question. This role isn't just a job, it's a springboard to a really fulfilling career. So with experience, you could move into supervisory or management roles. You could even become a halal certification inspector.
Wow, so it's not just about the technical skills, it's about developing leadership and expertise.
Exactly. And the skills you develop as a halal slaughterer, like attention to detail, adherence to guidelines, problem solving, those are all highly transferable to other roles within the industry. You could even branch out and start your own halal food business.
So it's about seeing the bigger picture. This role can be a stepping stone to a wide range of opportunities.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's Career Compass tool can actually help you map out those possibilities, identify the skills and experience you'd need for different roles within the halal industry.
It's like having a roadmap to navigate your career path.
It is.
So you're not just showing up for an interview, you're showing up for a career.
That's the key.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here, but before we move on, I want to go back to a point you made earlier about clearly explaining the halal slaughtering process. For someone who's not familiar, can you break down the key principles of halal slaughter according to Islamic teachings?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, the animal must be treated humanely throughout its life. And at the time of slaughter, Islamic teachings really emphasize minimizing suffering. The slaughter itself must be performed by a trained and practicing Muslim who recites a prayer dedicating the act to God.
So there's a spiritual aspect to it as well.
Yes, it's a very meaningful act. The animal must be slaughtered with a sharp knife, severing the carotid artery, jugular vein, and windpipe in a swift motion. To ensure a quick and painless death, the blood must be completely drained from the carcass, because consuming blood is forbidden in Islam.
Okay, so there's specific steps and guidelines, but it all revolves around minimizing suffering and respecting the animal's life.
Exactly. It's a very holistic approach to animal welfare and food preparation.
I think that's a great place to pause for now. We've covered the basics of the role, some key interview questions, and even start talking about career paths, but there's so much more to explore.
Welcome back. We were just talking about the core principles of halal slaughter and how to convey your understanding during an interview.
Right. It's not just about memorizing the steps. It's about understanding the meaning behind them.
Yeah.
And the ethics behind it.
Exactly. And that level of understanding will really shine through in your answers.
Yeah.
So let's get back to those interview questions. You might encounter one that focuses on collaboration. Something like, can you describe a time when you had to work collaboratively with others to achieve a common goal?
Oh, yeah. Teamwork. Classic interview question.
And for good reason. Employers want to see that you can function effectively as part of a team.
So how do you tackle this one?
Well, think of a specific example where teamwork was essential. Describe the goal, your role, the challenges you faced, and how you all collaborated to overcome them and achieve success.
Okay, so it's all about showing how you contribute to the team effort. And I bet they'll have follow-up questions too, like, what was your biggest contribution to the team? Or how did you handle disagreements?
Those are great examples. Be prepared to discuss how you communicate effectively, resolve conflicts constructively, and generally contribute to a positive team dynamic.
Okay, teamwork check. What about efficiency? I'm seeing a question here about that.
You're right. How do you ensure that the halal slaughtering process is carried out in a timely manner? That's all about your organizational skills and time management.
So what are they really looking for with that question?
They want to hear about your ability to prioritize tasks, understand the workflow, and maintain efficiency without compromising quality or those halal guidelines.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between speed and precision. Should you mention specific techniques or strategies you use to stay on track?
Absolutely. Talking about things like checklists, time tracking methods, or clear communication strategies, all of those demonstrate your proactive approach to efficiency.
Okay, and then I bet they'll throw in a curveball. Like,
Mm.
have you ever encountered a situation where the slaughtering process was delayed? How did you handle it?
Yes, the problem-solving question. This is where you showcase your ability to think on your feet and adapt to those unexpected challenges.
So what's the key to answering this one?
Choose a situation that really highlights your problem-solving skills, your adaptability, and commitment to upholding those halal standards even under pressure. Describe the problem, your actions, and that positive outcome.
So it's about showing you can handle the unexpected
Yeah.
without compromising on those core principles.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher actually has a whole section dedicated to these types of situational questions, with tips on how to structure your answers and highlight those key skills.
It's like having a playbook for handling those tricky interview moments.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about teamwork efficiency. What about quality control? How do you make sure that the meat meets those high standards and those customer expectations?
Well, how do you ensure that the meat is of high quality and meets customer expectations? That question is really designed to assess your understanding of quality control procedures and, again, your commitment to upholding those halal standards.
So it's about going beyond just the technical aspects of slaughtering and considering the end product as well.
Precisely. You want to talk about your meticulous attention to detail, your knowledge of quality control procedures, and your commitment to following those halal guidelines every step of the way.
Okay, so it's about showing you understand that halal is more than just a method of slaughter. It's about the quality and integrity of the final product.
Exactly. And this is another area where those certifications we talked about earlier, like halal food handling and processing, can really set you apart. They demonstrate that commitment to best practices and industry standards.
Right. Those certifications are like proof you've gone the extra mile.
They do. And they show that you're invested in your professional development, which employers love to see.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about technical skills and experience. But what about those all-important soft skills? Communication, teamwork, problem solving, all that good stuff.
You're absolutely right. Those soft skills are crucial for any job, but especially in a role like this. That involves so much interaction with others, from colleagues to suppliers to customers.
Right, so it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Precisely. During the interview, make eye contact. Speak clearly and confidently. Be enthusiastic about your work. All of those nonverbal cues really speak volumes about your personality and professionalism.
So it's about showing them you're not just skilled, but you're also someone they'd want to work with.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI-powered video feedback can help you practice those soft skills and see how you come across on camera.
It's like having a virtual mirror to refine your interview presence.
It is.
I like that. Okay, before we move on, let's talk a bit more about that research you mentioned earlier. How can someone really get to know a potential employer before they go into that interview?
Researching the company is crucial. It shows you're genuinely interested, and you've taken the time to learn about their values, their mission, their products. So check out their website, read their company profiles, look for any news articles or press releases that mention them.
So it's about showing you've done your homework. You're not just sending out generic applications.
Exactly. And don't forget to research the specific role and its responsibilities. Understanding the nuances of the position will help you tailor your answers and highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant.
Right. It's about showing you're a good fit for this specific opportunity, not just any job in the halal industry.
Exactly. And here's where RoleCatcher comes in handy again. They have a massive database of employers in the halal industry, including detailed company profiles, job postings, and even salary data.
Wow. It's like having an insider's guide to the halal job market.
It is a valuable resource, and it can really give you a competitive edge in your job search.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the importance of understanding those halal principles, how to approach those tough interview questions, even how to research potential employers. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something we mentioned earlier, career advancement. We talked about supervisory roles, management positions, even starting your own business. But what are some of the other career paths that someone could explore within the halal industry?
That's a great question. The halal industry is diverse and growing so rapidly, which means there are so many exciting avenues to explore.
So it's not just about working in a slaughterhouse.
Not at all. You could specialize in areas like halal food science, maybe becoming a quality assurance specialist or a product development expert.
Okay, what else?
You could go into halal logistics and supply chain management, ensuring the safe and ethical transport of halal products. Or you could focus on the regulatory side, working as a halal certification auditor or inspector.
Wow, there's so much more to it than I realized.
There really is. And remember, RoleCatcher's Career Compass tool can help you explore these different paths, identify the skills and experience you would need, and even connect you with relevant job openings.
So it's not just about landing this one job. It's about mapping out a fulfilling career in the halal industry.
Exactly. It's about seeing that bigger picture and understanding the diverse opportunities that are out there.
Okay, I think that's a great place to pause for now. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still more to discuss. Okay, welcome back. We are ready to wrap up our deep dive here into prepping for that Halal Slaughterer interview.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. From the technical side of halal slaughter to those tricky behavioral questions, and even exploring some of those exciting career paths.
Right, and don't forget about RoleCatcher. It's been our trusty sidekick this whole time.
Absolutely. Their AI tools and resources can really give you an edge in your interview prep and career exploration.
For sure. So before we send you off to conquer that interview, let's recap. What are the key things to remember as you walk into that interview room?
Well, first and foremost, you really want to demonstrate a deep understanding of halal principles and practices. It's not enough to just list steps. Explain the why behind the how. Show that you really grasp the ethical and spiritual significance of halal slaughter.
Right. It's about showing you're not just skilled,
Mm.
but you're passionate and knowledgeable.
Exactly. And remember to highlight those transferable skills like attention to detail, problem solving, teamwork, communication. Those are all super valuable assets in any role.
Right. And practice those behavioral questions
Mm.
using the STAR method. Situation, task, action, or result. It's a great way to structure your answers
Yeah.
and show off your skills in action.
Yeah. And RoleCatcher has that whole library of questions with sample answers and the AI feedback to help you refine your responses.
Yeah. It's like having a coach in your pocket.
Right.
And finally, don't underestimate the power of research. Knowing the company, the role, and the industry shows that you're genuinely interested and prepared.
Exactly. Go that extra mile. Show them you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career.
Okay, so what does all this mean? You're not just walking into that interview. You're walking in prepared, confident, ready to shine. You have the knowledge, the skills, the resources. You got this.
And remember, this job isn't just about meat. It's about upholding traditions, serving a community, contributing to this really vibrant and growing industry. Let that passion shine through. You'll be unstoppable.
We're rooting for you.